This is not a show. This is an experience. This is PV Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, Bailey.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Gabriel.
And this is PV Roundtable Talk. Y'all ready to talk about it?
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it.
All right. So, our topic of the day is, voting rights, getting out there, and basically the entire premise of politics. So, what I want to know from you guys right now is what do you look for in a candidate?
I know I'll start. Somebody who like self-aware. They know what's going on in America. I know it's a lot of older presidents, but I'll say like presidents that listening to the younger crowd too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in listening to us and what we got to say and whatever our young politicians may want to make changes or see changes fit, right? That's willing to have a good ear to the young crowd. I think that's for me.
Yeah, I totally relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I'm looking for a candidate who is going to divest from imperial wars abroad, right? Like get out of Palestine, get out of Ukraine, get out of like meddling in foreign affairs. Someone who's like focused on America and someone who's people focused.
Most definitely.
Um, yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
you
it.
stole the words right in my mouth. I really just looking for somebody about the people and they actually care about America as a whole. Like just a real person. If you say you're gonna do something, I'm looking for you to do that. Do what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
gonna say. Really.
Yeah, I like that you all went towards the candidates that are for the people. And I especially like when you were talking about foreign affairs and all of that, because when I look at politics, it gets me that we run America as a company
Mhm.
and as a business and not as a country full of people who do need to be taken care of and who
Right.
do need
Right.
to be looked at. And when it comes to things like that, politicians need to make sure that it's not just about the money
Most definitely.
because we don't have any. We're trillions of dollars in debt. So we need to focus on the people who are building the country and making the country what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what we missing right now.
Mhm.
That they gotta bring it back to us. Like focus on the people who out here that's working and you know what I'm saying, listen to what we gotta say.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's gotta change eventually.
Got to
it
change it.
does.
Actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like a lot of the candidates recognize that like Americans are kind of crying out for help, and we're like in a economic state where people aren't able to afford homes, afford rent. People aren't able to go to school. I know that was one of the biggest things
Mhm.
last election was like Biden like, bro, you said you was gonna cancel student loan debt, and here we are, 4 years later.
He working on
Bro, he been working on it for four
Yeah.
years.
I thought some people got their loan
Yeah.
canceled out.
I-
They did.
It was.
I ain't your mind though.
No, I ain't got my. You supposed to end student loan debt completely,
Right,
babe.
yeah.
We don't want no, not just a couple, not
Right.
just y'all can default for a little bit. Y'all don't have to pay him for a little bit. No, you were supposed to cancel that out.
He
He wasn't
promised that.
doing that.
He ain't do it.
He wasn't
He
doing
didn't
that.
deliver. He didn't deliver on
He
the
wasn't
loan
doing
promise.
when we
didn't
look
know
at
that.
I
things
knew he
like
wasn't doing that
this,
from the
I
beginning.
think it's important to remember that a lot of the big ticket items that the candidates say that they're gonna do when they run for president. Sure, it's cool. It's all glitz and gold. It's like, oh yeah, that we absolutely need that. But it doesn't just come from them. It comes from our Congress and everything who is checks and balancing them. And everyone's checking each other and making sure, like, what if the president says something crazy and they're like, we don't have the money for that, and then the president's like, make some money for it,
Yeah.
because
Make some money for it.
makes. I'm saying,
Nah.
I'm one of those. Why can't we just print more money, people? I
Right.
get it. I get it. I understand. But I feel like it's important to remember that there are other people involved in the processes that, make the things happen that we want to happen.
Most definitely. But like things like government things, you know what I'm saying? When they make it all about you, like pandering to like a specific race, I feel like you can't just trust it all the way. Cause mostly black people crying out for their student debt loan. Like that's the reason why they voted for that person. Like those main people was emphasizing, well, he gonna relieve student debt, he gonna do yada yada yada. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
he
hey,
do it.
you know what you was getting into when you
Nah,
took the
facts.
loan debt. I mean, yeah, it's cool to get it, but when they pander to us, it's more of a problem than it is like you just want our vote. You know what I'm saying? So you can get what you're trying to get. Like as of now, like our vote might not even matter this upcoming election. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it don't weigh that much no more. Like it don't hold no weight
Why you
in
say
the.
I
that?
mean, I want to like our vote hasn't ever necessarily mattered, right? I think
Facts.
the main problem that you're getting at is really just a flaw of the two party system itself, right? It's just two different brands of like continuing American capitalist
Facts.
like hegemony, right? Like one is like rainbow, Black Lives Matter, and one is like Confederate flags and like MAGA
Okay.
hats, you know? So I think that like it's not like a like they yes they are pandering, but like that's how politics
Yeah,
works.
for
That's how
sure.
politics
Right.
operates in America. But I mean that's why we should divest from the two-party system, right? Like there's
Mhm.
third-party candidates. You know, the person who I like want to vote for this upcoming election is Cornel West, and that's because he's like truly like a revolutionary guy. He's black. He's a
Yeah.
Christian. Like I said, he's focused on the people. He's divesting from like imperial wars abroad. He's like all around a good guy, and he's an academic who's like been very critical of politicians. Even was
Facts.
very critical of Obama in 2008, and black people was like not rocking with that stuff.
Nah,
But he's
for
like
real.
he's been honest, and his
Cornelius.
campaign is based on truth and justice and love and like
I got a
That's
question
my
for y'all
guy.
right quick. So you said like, and I feel the same way. Our votes don't really matter. So why do y'all vote if y'all do vote? I know some of us may not be old enough, but
I mean, you should still vote again because like that's the only way to get your voice heard. Obviously, like you know, it's more important to like vote in like local elections and stuff, just because it's like you know more centered
Sure,
around your
right.
community and stuff. But I mean, the presidential election is like it's still important. It's just like obviously it's less weight because there's you know 300 some million people in America.
I
Right.
vote because it's really important to do so because they want so bad for us not to vote, you know, because our vote, the black vote and the young vote hold so much power in America
Most
that they
definitely.
try to suppress it. And as a young black voter, I think it's really important to not only be a part of the system,
Mhm.
but to let my voice known and be heard in that system. Because, like you were saying, they cater to us. They say the things that we want to hear, and they're
Mhm.
going to keep doing that because that's how they get the votes. Because
Facts.
our votes matter the most.
Mhm.
That's why they try to suppress it. And the electoral college, if y'all know about that,
Most definitely.
that it's literally centered around making sure that our vote is just a little bit less than theirs. That our
Yeah.
vote doesn't matter as much as theirs.
Right.
The 3/5 law and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
making sure that we are not as important as they are when it comes to elections and politics and all this stuff. And so it's really important to me to have a voice in politics because of things like that, and because they literally voted to keep the electoral college, even though everyone in the government was like, this doesn't make any sense. They
Yeah.
voted to keep it because they were afraid of us. They were
Yeah.
afraid of our vote. And I like doing
Yeah.
doing things people don't want me to do.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm gonna vote no matter what.
That's
who would you
real,
vote for?
but-
Who would you
Oh
vote
yeah,
for?
who are you voting for?
Who am I voting for? That's a good question. See, because this race has been so up and down. You know, it's basically Trump and Biden. We
Mhm.
know this. This is projected. Marianne Williamson, who I was loving for so long, she was running against Biden. She dropped out of the race, but then
Yeah.
she came back on February 28th. So I'm rooting for her. Nikki Haley got swept.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Super, I'm sorry, like turned in the mud on
Yeah.
Super Tuesday, and next day she said, "I am resigning my campaign." I was like, "Nikki girl, okay." So it's really, I really, really, really want to vote for Cornel West. I
Mhm.
have since he jumped into the campaign in January of last year.
Mhm.
Ever since then, I was down for it. I've been doing research about him, but it's so difficult to actually put a vote into a third party candidate, because when it comes to things like that, I would love to.
Mhm.
It would be amazing to. I think he's the best candidate, but he's third party, and I don't
Most
want to
definitely.
split the vote somewhere else, and then one of the top two parties, wins.
I mean I understand that, and that's like really the cry coming from a lot of people like against like the third party and stuff. But that's so like it's kind of like a self-fulfilling thing, right? Like if everybody's like, oh well, I want to vote third party, but I'm not going to because this, and this, then obviously no, the third party candidate is not going to win.
I'm not saying I'm not going to vote third party.
Mhm.
I'm
But I'm
saying it's upsetting that the system is designed for the third party to
Not
not
to
win.
win.
Absolutely, but I'm just saying that your sentiment is echoed, and it's a circular thing, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why like third party candidates never win. And I think especially in regards to like Cornel West, it really really hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Y'all should go.
I might be the guy that spoil it. I might be the Trump guy.
Facts. Me too.
But the reason why I don't want people to think I'm just like a fan of everything Trump do is more so like you said earlier, the nation they run it like a business, right? Trump he's really not a politician. He just got into it. He was more of a businessman, anyways. And when he was running the thing, we had peace in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? We had low unemployment rates. We had jobs. Black-owned businesses were booming. Know what I'm saying? Jobs were created also. So I'm more so like, okay, what do you? Hey, yeah, you might say you little ugly words and stuff, but sticks and stones might break my bones. But words never hurt me. That's how I was always raised. So everything he be talking about, it really don't be mattering to me. But if you actually, he say what he say, but the result in the community, if you look at it into the community, is not a result of what he actually talking about. Because he giving us the opportunity that we need through a pandemic. The world was still moving. The economy was still going through a pandemic, through it all.
People
In the black community, I know food stamps. I know people was getting $7,000 in food stamps. You know what I'm saying? It's just real though.
Yeah, no,
You
we
know
had
what I'm
we had
saying? It was a lot of loan. It was everything. It was money everywhere on the floor for people to go and grab. People wasn't really wanting during the pandemic like you thought it was. Like at the
Yeah.
beginning, we was out of groceries because people was going to get groceries, but we went out of groceries because we couldn't afford them. We went out of jobs because there wasn't jobs. You know what I'm saying? In the
well,
time.
I'm,
I'm gonna let you. No, you got it. You
well,
got
I'm
it.
sorry. I
No,
didn't
you
know if you
good.
still had more
You
to say,
good.
but in regards to jobs and employment, right? I think we touched on this in a previous conversation, but
Mhm.
like when we're talking about economic stuff, that stuff really like you have to look at the like it's a in advance kind of thing, right? So
Mhm.
the things that people are saying Trump did are really just the economic effects of Obama's policies, right?
Oh,
Like
clock it.
Yeah,
that's
That's what
that's what I was hearing too.
That's
But
what I be
explain that
hearing.
though.
But
Explain
yeah,
that though.
explain it.
I mean, that's just how like economic cycles work. When a
Right.
president puts a policy into effect, you're not going to immediately see
See it.
For
effects,
sure.
right? So we're living in the effects of Trump right now, right? And then before we were living in the effects of Obama.
So you feel like the pandemic was from Obama? Like those were effects of Obama? Like
I'm not saying in regards to the pandemic. He was
Okay.
talking about employment
Just
and
okay.
jobs.
Just period.
But I mean, in regards to the handling of the pandemic, I mean, you like you can't necessarily say that he did a great job with that. And I'm gonna kind of counter and say no, only because right, like we're still kind of like we're not out of the pandemic, right? Like
Facts.
COVID is still a thing. People are still
Facts.
dying from COVID. If anything, like maybe we should put our mask back on.
See, and I agree, but the thing is, me personally, I ain't gonna lie to you. The COVID situation was out of control because there were people like me. I'm gonna include myself. I'm gonna be real. I didn't care about it. You know, I didn't
Right.
take this. Say it was a lot of people that didn't take the right precautions during COVID, and that's a fact. People gonna be real. It was times that I went 6 feet because I was with my cousins. I'm with my granny. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
But when
granny
I
needs you to put a mask
and
on.
that's true. But what I'm saying is, when I'm at the store, yeah, I'm gonna practice my code. You know what I'm saying? People was getting sick from their family members. A lot of stuff. I got sick from my teammate when I caught COVID from one of my teammates. But we as a team supposed to be taking the
Precautions.
Yeah.
but we wasn't. That's all I'm saying. So a lot of COVID stuff was a lot of self. People don't get me wrong, but a lot of it was uncontrollable. But all I'm saying is, as a so you can't control everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything you can't control, and people were still doing whatever they wanted to do
Yeah.
as
I mean,
COVID was going on.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, as a president, right? Like you have executive power to
And
tell people
influence.
not to open up so early, right? Republicans were the ones pushing for the economy to start back up, right?
For sure.
Like that's something that exists within his control. They love him. That's his besties, right?
For sure.
So I
They
mean,
besties.
in terms of one, also another question:
Mhm.
Is your granny okay? Is she good?
Yeah, my granny good. I'm just saying, even like during COVID, everybody was doing like some days somebody then you might not wear your mask, even though you're supposed to wear your mask.
Yeah.
Some
Did
days
y'all?
you might have been around your friends. Y'all ain't supposed to be together. You know what I'm
But I think when
saying?
it comes to the political aspect of it, Trump as president during that rough time in people's lives,
Mhm.
he wasn't taking in my opinion, in my eyes, the proper stance to use his influence
Facts.
as commander in chief
Mhm.
to say this is serious. He was literally a COVID denier, a vaccine denier.
Yeah.
He was saying that it wasn't serious. And
For
so his followers, not people, his
His
followers
followers, okay.
believe, because I'm people and I didn't
Yeah.
believe him. His
Nah,
followers
for real.
believed that it wasn't serious and that the vaccine was going to kill them. And there was a lot of coverage that was like many supporters of this guy who've like
Mhm.
been I don't know how they track this, like social media,
Mhm.
were dying or getting sick because of COVID-19 and all this stuff. And it was just like a bunch of stuff with Pfizer. And it was really him and his position of power that
Mhm.
needed to be the voice to tell people to get a grip.
Yeah, to put a
Yeah,
mask on.
for
And
sure.
it's so crazy because like you would think like them old white people, y'all need to have y'all mask on, baby, because COVID gonna get
Facts.
y'all.
He
If nobody else.
exactly, and he knows his position of power. He
Yeah.
sees this trail of people who follow him to the end of the world,
Mhm.
and he
Yeah,
used that, in my opinion, for evil.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
He's done some diabolical
I
stuff.
don't know. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, but like you can only do so much. That's all I'm
Facts.
saying.
Yeah.
Like me, I really don't care how the president feel about me.
Mhm.
Nothing. As long as you doing what you supposed to be doing. Like you supposed to be in there taking care of business. Like really taking care of business. Like things that he say, things that he might do. Like he was making some crazy comments. I ain't gonna lie to
So
y'all.
okay,
I want
but
y'all
He
to
made
know.
a whole
I do agree.
Well,
What?
He was
I
making some
love this
crazy
conversation
comments.
right now. I love it so much. We're gonna come right back to this after this commercial break.
All right. To take it, we're gonna go with criminal justice reform.
All right, welcome back. When we last left off, we were going back and forth about Trump and COVID, but now I want to shift the conversation a little bit to talk about prisons and mass incarceration. I want to know what you guys think about the candidates, like what you want your candidate to say in respect to, or what policies you want them to implement in respect to mass incarceration and criminal justice, and what you want to see in the criminal justice system going forward.
I think I'll start off with that. I think that feel like some of that is more towards like the governor. I don't know what they can do with prisons, but I know like knowing people that are in certain prisons in different states, right? So I know people in prison in Texas and Illinois. So it's a lot of mistreatment going on. I know everybody heard about the mistreatment, but it's a lot of things that they're supposed to be giving, but you're not giving,
Yeah.
right? So you're supposed to be giving, right, a meal, 3 meals, whatever the case may be, right? You're supposed to have time to come out your cells, and a lot of that stuff is not going on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people dying in jail. I don't know nobody in New York, but New York got the highest. Rikers Island got the highest death rate of inmates
Mhm.
in the country, right? So it's like it's a lot of stuff that's going on that people turning their eye to. So I feel like whoever president, governor, Congress, Supreme Court,
Yeah.
somebody need to
All the
like
people.
dip
They
their
need-
hand in and figure
All
out what's
y'all need to
going
figure
on.
it out. Yeah.
They need to be.
Somebody needs to do something.
Nah, facts.
Well, my boy Cornel West said he wanted to abolish like private prisons and like solitary confinement, so you can't just like lock people up and throw them in like a cell by
Yeah, I feel
themselves
like
in the
that's
Mhm.
dark.
inhumane. Like
That's
It's
you can't,
inhumane.
yeah,
shit.
like especially like they changed it up. Like they changed it up. It used to be where they just throw you in. They keep the lights off.
Yeah,
But
lights
they
off.
keep the lights off. There's no sunlight, no windows, no opening the doors. Now they let you have lights on. Like now they keep a light on, and
Yeah.
but like that's still inhumane though, right?
Yeah.
You got people going crazy. It's documents of people like going crazy behind that, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
losing they self or coming out of there with 3 different personalities. You know what I'm saying?
Most
Things
definitely.
like not
Shoot.
things like that, but it's like that's how I feel like that should be taken off completely. It's other ways. I feel like prison is supposed to be rehabilitation,
Rehabilitation, for
not
sure.
punishment.
Nah, for
You know what I'm
real.
saying? It could be some types of right punishment in there, but it's not gonna be no free ride. But it shouldn't be. I feel like strictly right now it's nothing but punishment going on.
Nah,
It
most
ain't no
definitely.
rehabilitation going on for real.
I
Most
think in a
definitely.
lot of cases, they need to lean more into rehabilitation
That's what it's
and
supposed
not
to be.
punishment. I think that's a really good point that you brought up
Mhm.
because we've been talking about that a lot. You know, Gen Z has been talking about doing more rehabilitation and reforming our criminal justice and making it to where it's just, more of a place where people can do better when they come out.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times when they're in there for these long sentences, these life sentences, they come out and they know nothing about the world, and it's harder for them to adapt to the new world.
Mhm.
Um, in a foreign country, I think it's Iceland. In Iceland, it's they have like such a small prison system that they can't hold so many people at one time. So you will get sentenced to prison, but you'll like live your life this whole time, and then in the middle of like your life, it'll be like
They
10
come
years
get you.
later, they come get you and you have to go
Yeah,
to
for real.
prison. And I think
Whoa.
exactly,
That's
isn't that
crazy.
I'd
crazy?
be mad.
She's
that's,
coming out be
that's
mad,
insane,
but
and
that's
that's
cool.
that's like a total flip of America. But I think on both ends, it's completely wild because in Iceland, it could be that you did a crime that you feel really bad for, and you've
Yeah.
completely rehabilitated yourself outside of prison, and now you're a better person, and now you have to go to prison and pay for the thing that you did 20
Oh
years
no.
ago. Or in America, you do a crime, you go to prison for 20 years, and you come out and you don't know how to be a person
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
I,
most definitely.
I don't know. I just like overpopulation is like, why is that happening? We got so much money. It's only
Mass,
one prison in Texas.
mass
It's
incarceration.
only one prison in Texas,
But
and Texas is one of the biggest states in America.
most definitely, it just go back to my point earlier, like what my candidate that I choose, like just to go back to Trump, not to just keep bringing him up, but it just go. He signed the criminal justice reform bill. It was releasing people with outdated crack sentences.
Yeah.
Mandatory minimum. They was getting out. So I think it's a focus on it, and then it need to be like I say, rehabilitation. It need to be education. We need to be doing these things in prison rather than locking them in a box, throwing away the key, because that's what they
Facts.
call it, lock away,
Yeah.
and just throw them down, and then they not learning nothing in there. Y'all not giving them the
Yeah.
opportunities to do
To
nothing in
learn.
there. I
Yeah.
know they still got slavery going on in some prisons. People don't be
Yeah.
knowing about that.
Yeah.
So it's like a light they need to be put on the criminal justice reform. So I think they need to be emphasis. Like you need to be talking about something in criminal justice.
And
Yeah,
also, I feel
absolutely.
like they need to be watching who they hiring,
Yeah.
right? As far as like CAs and what I'm saying, POs, and they need to watch who's in these prisons, like because you got a lot of people who that's in these prisons that's not qualified, like to
Mhm.
deal with right inmates or people that's mentally
Mm.
like in a different place than what they supposed to be. So you
Right,
got
right.
it's videos that they try to hide from you of mental patients like locked down getting beat by like 10 15 guards at one time.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to watch who you hiring in these prisons to deal with these people, because if you feel like these people need rehabilitation, there's something wrong with them. So you can't just put anybody in there. Like you don't know who qualified and who not qualified. So I feel like whoever, they need to put more in place of a application process,
Fact.
whatever, for them to be able to
Background
And
check.
just to
background check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just to add
I
on
mean,
to it, like your in the rehabilitation, it got to be special
yeah.
rehabilitation.
Yes.
So if you got drug offenders, you need to be sending them to drug rehabilitation, then locking them away. Somebody might and then I know in California they got the thing where it's like the 3 strike rule. If you get basically if you get locked up, you get basically get 3 opportunities. But if you get caught on the third time, you gotta
You
go. And
gone.
it
Yeah.
could be something as small as like I just stole some candy at the store. I
yeah.
got trouble. Now you going back for good. You know, it's things that people actually need help with.
Yeah.
And instead of just locking them up for stuff like that, we need to specialize the rehabilitation that they
Yes.
I
need to
think
get into.
both all of what you are saying really just echoes back to like a larger issue, and I really liked what he said about like watching who we're hiring.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't realize that those kinds of jobs where you're like watching inmates, right? Policing in general, right?
Right.
That stuff literally lends itself to the worst kinds of personalities. I swear to you, like the worst people become police officers, and there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
And with like largely like the criminal justice system that we have, like you said, like you guys said, it's like it's supposed to be centered around rehabilitation, but a lot of people don't realize that like crime is manufactured, right? Like the social issues that exist in America are what causes the social problems that
Facts.
result in crime,
Yeah.
right? If people didn't live in ghettos where kids are like eight to an apartment or eight to a house, people wouldn't resort to crime, right? So it's just like it's bigger than just like setting up rehab centers, right? We have to have like more social programs. We have to put less spending on military defense, and we have to put more into like social programs
Most
to literally
definitely.
help people, or shoot, give people money like y'all did in COVID. Do that again.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
send me
then
a
another
check.
thing, I know, go back to Trump again. Him and Ice Cube did something called Build the Black, Build Back the Community. You know, they signed it. It was either a 3 to 500 million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all, and guess what? It's parks, basketball. These are the things we need in the communities that's gonna lead. When I was growing up, we was outside, but we went outside doing the wrong thing. We was outside because we got a basketball park over there. We got a swimming pool over there. We got a park right here. These are things that need to be in the communities that's leading to the success and the growth of us rather than we just in the crib, on the games, on the phones. We not gonna grow. Are we
Yeah.
gonna learn? Like you said, you see everything on the phones now. So you might see phones and games is what the mind is to
Yeah.
some people now, and that ain't even real.
Yeah.
Like to go back to our episode from last week, social media. What you see on social media ain't even real half the time. It be
Right.
fake. And people
Right.
think that's the real.
Nah,
They can
facts.
pollute the mind, I think,
Right.
in
My
a
problem
negative
is
way.
really within the idea that things that are inherently evil,
Mhm.
like murder and rape and all of these things, we're putting these people in the same place with the people who are doing time for drugs or like
Yeah.
stealing small things like candy, or
Mhm.
that guy who stole bread to feed his daughter because
That's
he didn't have
crazy.
any money
Yeah.
for it. I don't understand why those people are in the same place. I
Nah.
don't understand, like you said, why we don't have the resources, or why we're not using the resources and giving these resources to the people who need them.
Facts.
Like, he wouldn't have had to steal if he had the
Yeah.
money, if he wasn't working a minimum wage job and minimum wage wasn't
Mhm.
$7.25 an hour, and he has a mortgage and he has a car note and he has to have the car because
Yeah.
he has to get his daughter to school, and he has to have the house because he has to have somewhere to home his daughter, because if he doesn't
Yeah.
home his daughter, then he goes to jail for not homing his daughter, and now his daughter, and
Has
it's
to
just
go
a
to
whole
CPS.
cycle that it
Yeah.
just
Coming to get
it attacks American people, and it attacks African American people, so that it keeps us incarcerated. And it's sick to me. I just don't
Yeah.
See,
understand. Well, I
that's
do
I
this
really
is
understand.
I
this is
agree.
why, not to bring it up again, but this is why Kanye should have been president.
Right.
Hey, because he was gonna
Explain.
solve a lot of those things.
No
Kanye was looking out
way.
for us. Kanye was talking about putting money, like giving money, like to the black. It's so America got so much money that they not doing nothing with. Right? Come to these communities, like break them down and build them up. Not break them down literally, but like I'm talking about building courts, building.
Yeah.
I had a
Affordable
YMCA.
living.
My first couple years of school, I was in a YMCA.
Mhm.
That's a real school. It's not
Mhm.
just now it's a rec center, but it used to be a real school.
Mhm.
So it's like keep kids there. Boys and girls club. I don't even see them boys and girls clubs no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Boy
saying? So,
Scouts. You
Boy
don't see
Scouts,
that.
Boy
Girl
Scouts.
Scouts,
None of
things
stuff
like that. So that's
yeah.
why I'm saying Kanye was talking about bringing stuff like that to the black community. He wasn't talking about the whole world, but shout out to him for he was just trying to rebuild the black community.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
My main problem with people like Kanye and with people like Trump is really in the stuff that they say, right? Oh, Kanye was talking about doing this. Kanye also had a shirt on that said "White Lives Matter" right on the back, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm not
Yeah, I
really
don't
trying
know.
to hear all that about Kanye.
Kanye.
And in regards to Trump, I don't like him because like you can say, oh, he's done all this stuff. He puts all these policies in place that's gonna help black people, and he collaborated with Ice Cube. But at the end of the day, Trump still pushes an ideology that is based on like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. And anytime a black person commits a crime that's heinous, right? He's gonna say, look at this black guy, look at this horrible. I'm not gonna say the bad word, and he's gonna like point at them, and this is all of you,
For
right?
example.
He's calling people at the southern border terrorist, like he.
I mean, he
They-
is racist, but
Wait,
he's
so when you say
wildly
He's
racist.
racist, but is not a sentence.
He's
but he
racist,
can be.
but-
Are
I
you?
think he
I
should
mean,
be
a lot of black
president, though.
people are racist themselves.
yeah, a lot of people racist behind closed doors.
A lot of people.
Y'all. I feel like a lot of people want people to be racist behind closed doors, but when somebody come out, and said, it's like all of us have said racist
Yeah,
things.
I'm
before,
cool.
like,
All of us.
I'm cool. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
Everybody done said
I'm
a
cool.
racist thing.
I'm
before.
cool with knowing Trump is a racist. At least he ain't lying to me. You know what I'm saying? I know
Nah,
this.
for
I know
real.
this dude don't like black people, or he say he don't like black people. Now, if I choose to go vote for him, knowing he don't like black people, hey, that's on me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I choose to support this guy, this is on me. This all I'm saying. I know who this person is as a person. That's all it come down to. Joe Biden racist.
I'm not gonna say Joe Biden isn't racist. I'm just saying, like, that's not somebody who you should want to support. They're not campaigning on justice, on love. They don't care about the people. If anything, they're like using minorities as scapegoats.
How don't they care about the people when people was making $6,000 more in income? How don't they care about the people when the corporate tax dropped from 36 to 21%?
corporate tax?
Yeah.
Results
Like
of-
taxes
It went from
on
35
corporations.
It went from it went from 35% to 21%. Under the when Trump was in president.
Both presidents are fond of like dropping corporate taxes. That doesn't do anything for us.
But it come at you. And when you getting paid, I'm talking about individual tax, corporate tax, everything as a whole. The tax was down. Under this all I'm saying is dropping. If they don't care about us, this stuff not happening. You know what I'm saying? Gas was cheap.
Oh,
It was peace in the middle. It was peace in the Middle
But gas
East.
was
What do you
cheap.
mean?
I think this goes back to running America as a business and as a company. When it comes down to everything that they do, the only good thing that they did involved your money, because that it didn't just help you, it helped them more than it helped you.
But it helped me. I feel like economic growth is the route to freedom. If we can get that on our own, we'll be free. You get what I'm saying? I know it's not about how I feel. I can feel like a lot of things is right, but just because I feel like it's right don't mean it's right. If what they doing is actually changing stuff and making something right, then hey, that's what's right. Just because I feel like that's right, that don't mean nothing to me. Like that's how I was told. But I see a positive effect of what they doing. I don't necessarily see the negative effect besides just hurting some people feelings. So that don't matter to me. It's more so, okay, is it a positive effect for as a whole? Which it looked like is more of I seen a lot of positive effect as a whole. I didn't hear a lot of complaining in the black community when Trump was the president. Now I hear a lot of people not even able to get to work because they can't afford gas sometimes. Now I hear people ain't even able to buy groceries. Now I hear people not even able to afford. Say this, why I would choose this person as my president, because 4 years ago the complaints that I'm hearing now, I wasn't hearing coming from the black community. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't hearing about people crying about, man, they taking a whole lot of money on my social security check. I wasn't hearing these type of things. I didn't work here 30 years, and I don't even get them. I only getting $2,000 from social. I'm only getting $2,000 out my retirement. That's terrible to me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't hearing these things 4 to 5 years ago. That's all I'm saying. That's why I would choose that person as my president.
I don't think you can attribute you can't attribute all of those things to Trump, right? Those
For sure.
These like progresses are really the lack of progress that you're talking about. This is more so a result of late stage capitalism, if nothing else.
For sure.
And that is like Trump is a champion of late stage capitalism. Like
So
that's
explain what that
his
is
whole.
to the people who
explain it
don't
to
know.
us.
So
Late stage capitalism.
well, okay, let me deflect. I have to start off by defining capitalism.
Right.
Man.
And capitalism is just our current economic system in which you have a couple people who own private property and are able to like profit off of the things that they own, right?
Right.
Land, like businesses, whatever, just like stuff that like generates income, right? Like things that people like a job. Like I go into work and I labor at work, and somebody else like is profiting off of my labor, right?
Yeah,
If I'm producing a product and like another like consumers are buying that product, like the capitalist is getting the money, like the profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this when I say late stage capitalism, I'm describing this era in which a small percentage of the population have so much private property that the people who are the proletariat, the people who are laboring, the majority, right, don't have any money, like extra money to spend. So they need stimulus checks and they need all these other things to consume, to keep consuming. Does that make sense? Okay.
I just got a question. So who gets the credit for doing the good? Like whoever gets the credit if it's always the opposite. Like you saying, if Trump is just his goods just coming from basically the president before him, what good? He didn't do no good in president.
I'm not gonna no.
So
He ain't do no good.
okay, what about Joe Biden? What good or bad has he did?
What? Well, I mean, right now he's executing genocide in Palestine. That's one.
So
So
I
is
can
he
see.
doing
I got.
good or
I low key
bad?
got a problem with stuff like that though.
You got a problem with
Like,
what?
I'm not saying it's not wrong for him. He doing the right thing, but I feel like sometimes we need to take care of what's in house first before we go out
Easily.
and help everybody else. They
sure.
gave out like 4 billion to
I don't have a
Palestine.
cent.
That's 4 billion that they could have put to these
To-
communities.
They
They
coulda
gave
put it in
four.
our-
They
in our
gave 4 billion
community.
to Israel, not Palestine. You gotta.
but okay, yeah,
They coulda put
Israel,
it
so
in
they
the-
gave
they
4
coulda
million,
put it here.
4 million or 4 billion.
Absolutely. I'm
We're agreeing on this
Oh,
already.
yeah.
They already acknowledge that military defense needs to. All that money needs to
Yeah.
be going.
They
to
have
that
free
just
health
me.
care and free college, and I am paying to be here.
Come
That
on
just
now.
shows. That just
Come
shows you
on
that
now.
like they don't really care about us. Like
Absolutely.
they going out helping people that they never gonna see across the world, and got people here, specifically black people here,
Mhm.
struggling,
Absolutely.
communities torn down.
So again, like my qualms with Trump, they're the same. They're the same as my qualms with Biden.
And I would say the
Facts.
same thing about
Both
Biden.
of them are champions of late stage capitalism.
Mhm.
And Cornel West, really, if we're being honest, is the only candidate that is like, y'all, we don't need no more capitalism, bro.
Right.
We need to usher in like socialism, right? We need
Right.
universal basic income. We need free education. We need to
For
get
sure.
rid of the prison system as it exists, right? Like we need a universal minimum wage.
Mhm.
Cornel West is the only candidate who, like I said, is for the people,
Oh.
right? And is anti-capitalist. And I think you cannot, in today's like society, if you are still operating with the mindset that we like the capitalism isn't the problem, you're tripping.
Yeah,
Right.
when I was younger and I was learning about the different economic systems, capitalism and socialism, socialism sounds so good when you don't completely understand it. It's like, oh, we all put our money in a pot and everybody gets an equal amount. You know, it's so cutie patootie. And I told them, I was like, I was 12 years old, you guys. Please give me a break.
No, I'm
I was
I'm
like,
rocking with you.
socialism sounds cool. We should do that. And they're like, no, you don't want to be rich. We can do socialism. You don't want to be rich. And my entire point was, I don't want to be rich if that means somebody else has to be poor.
Yeah.
I don't want to have all the money in
Good
the world
point.
if I'm looking down from my high castle and somebody is down there in the ditch. You
Yeah.
know, that's not what I can do. I can't do that morally, emotionally. It's not something I can do. Other people can. Other
Mhm.
people are. Other people have been president.
Yeah. And I
She talking
think
about-
that's I really like what you said, because it's a lot of people who are like, I mean, I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption
Yeah.
about you guys. I don't know if y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but really are like fans of people who champion black capitalism, right?
Like who?
Jay-Z, Kanye West.
I ain't a fan of Jay-Z. I am a fan of Kanye West though.
Okay, but both of them are billionaires or
Right.
dang near billionaires, right? And they really embody this idea of black people wanting to become an oppressor. Black people just wanting to get them a high castle and not free everybody else that's in chains below them. And that's really Cornel West again is critical always of people like that.
So you said black people want to get them a high castle and say forget about everybody at the bottom.
Yes, bro.
I can't rock with that though, because
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to black people. I know the things they talk about they want to do when they get money is totally different.
Nah.
Like-
Jay-Z is calling y'all silly because y'all don't know what credit is on his song.
See,
Oh, I
but
know
like,
what
I'm
that
not
is,
I'm
though.
not a Jay-Z fan, but Jay-Z obviously don't care about the black
Yeah,
community.
they don't care.
It's like I feel like it's just about the people who got the money. Like the right people don't got the money.
That's it.
Right? Like the right people don't have the money, and Jay-Z not. I don't feel like he should. Oh, well, I can't say that he worked for his bread, but the right people don't got it. Like if I had it, I'll be doing to help the community, but they not doing. So it's like I can't feel like you can put that on all black people. It's just the ones that got the money right now, the ones that a lot of these black people look up to, right? Not me, but a lot of people look up to. They just not doing right, and it's making all of us look bad because it's like, oh, whoever else gonna get the money next gonna do the same thing. But that's not the case.
Okay.
And that's not our fault really, because as a community we do have this poverty mindset, and it was internalized in us. It was instilled in us from the get-go. So I was literally just watching what's his name? Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Whatever. The Black Supreme Court Justice, go.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas. I was just,
I didn't
oh
know
my
what
gosh,
she
that
was
was so
saying. I didn't know
embarrassing.
what she was
I was
doing.
just watching a Clarence Thomas documentary, and I'm really into understanding people and how they think and why they do the things they do, because Clarence Thomas, that's the whole sentence. So it was basically just from start to finish, not finished, he's still alive, from the beginning of his life, how all the hardships that he went through and all of the discrimination that he faced from his own people, and how when he finally got into the White House and how he was building up his reputation in politics, he became like the white man's puppet, and how politics really corrupted him to be this kind of person. And it was always him making comments about other Black people because that's what happened to him.
Right.
And it was always him being the top Black person because he never was. And it was always him being the top man because he never was, because he always felt insignificant. And I feel like it's not just him. It's not just him that does that. He's in the Supreme Court. He has one of the highest positions in America, but it's not just him that does that. We do that, and when we get that money, we've reached our goals. We set all these precedents. We said we were going to help the community and all this stuff. Some people do that. Some people have that mindset and they keep going, but some people stop.
Yeah.
Some people get that billion and they just keep it, or some people get that billion and we have a tendency to go and immediately spend it instead of saving it or investing it or putting it towards something that we truly believe in, that's not just ourselves. And I also want to ask, why can't Kanye donate to the community without being president?
I don't know. I don't know him, so
he don't want to.
We don't know.
Nah, he don't want to.
But I feel like cause what you said, I just forgot. But you was talking about what you say again? I forgot. My bad.
The whole thing?
No. Just about Black people and
the poverty mindset.
Yeah. The money.
Well, we okay.
I lost my train of thought. My bad. I lost my train of thought.
Basically about how we have a poverty mindset instilled in us, so that when we get our money, we don't.
So what I was gonna say is the people that's I was gonna say the people that's getting the money. I feel like everybody want to help the community when they at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
But when they get to the top, they afraid of losing that money. They afraid of like them billionaires. You know, it's not that many Black billionaires in America. Right, so and we already know America ran by the people behind them closed doors, right? Yeah. So it's like Jay-Z. I feel like he's not helping because he's afraid to lose that money. Yeah. Because you see what they did to Kanye. They cut Kanye network right in half.
But that's cool though,
right? But it's like, and some people, them billionaires, they don't want to lose. They and at that point they so corrupted to where they only worried about the money. But at that time, they forget about. They like, well, I got mine. Yeah. My people and my family straight. So they not worried about what's going on at the bottom then. Right, so I feel like it's like that for me, that's not gonna be me. Like I feel like they get scared of losing the money. They get scared of going back to the bottom instead of helping everybody that's at the bottom, trying to pull everybody else in the community up at the same time.
They kind of getting extorted. That's what it sounds like to me.
They are
athletes and all. Y'all getting all this. They ain't in control of their money. That's another thing. Like they ain't got no control. And if they got control over the money, I feel like they'll do it.
Y'all giving them at least in respect to billionaires, athletes do more probably for the community than Kanye and Jay-Z. But y'all giving billionaires way too much credit. People don't realize like what it really takes to like be a billionaire. In order to make $1 billion, like I said, you have to profit off of somebody else's labor, right? There's somebody making Yeezys. There's somebody's making them little them little hoodies. I love them hoodies. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait,
I like
Yeezy hoodies.
I kind of like them. The
hoodies for $300.
The Gap hoodies. Ooh, those are hard.
$300
for a plain hoodie.
Could never be me.
Hoodie.
It's kind of fire, but like I said, you have to like exploit somebody else to make $1 billion. Yeah. So like even if you want to give it back to the community, you done all this harm making all this money. It don't matter what you give back to the community because you done hurt so many other communities in the process.
Well,
I'd rather you still give it back though instead of sit on it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you hurt all them people to make it, still give it back.
If I gotta hurt anybody to make bread, I don't want it.
You said
if I gotta hurt anybody to make it on,
nah, for real. And it's like
that's how I feel.
But some people, unfortunately, everybody that got the money right now, they don't feel the same way. A lot of them do, right? Like I know LeBron, y'all probably know he got out of elementary school.
But his school failing
whole school. You said what?
His school failing though.
Oh yeah,
they don't put that in the news. You know.
He's
trying his best.
School.
He can't be trying his best.
But he can't be trying. LeBron rebuilt his whole community. right? I mean, he an athlete, right? He not out in the media saying he gonna do this, that, and the third, but
Yeah.
he's still making it happen. His school failing, unfortunately, right? They need to hire some better teachers.
Yeah.
But as far as his community, right? He tore down the projects and built brand new apartment
Yes.
buildings in
Yeah.
his community, right?
And
Can the
they
people-
can still afford to live
they can
there.
still
That's what you
afford-
need.
He
Okay,
did
okay.
not gentrify. He did
That's
that on
what you
purpose.
need.
And we are on fire right now in this conversation. So that means we are going to be right back after this commercial break. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Ooh, y'all. We are back. We are back. Thank you guys for this amazing conversation we are having. And we have had so many opinions. So many opinions.
So many.
I just want to know now your opinion on, we've said all the bad stuff that we could think of for this period of time. I want to know what you guys think could go right. How do you
Solutions.
think we could reform all of this stuff that we've talked about recently?
Right.
Well, I'm actually anti-reform. I'm
Mm.
revolution. We don't need reform. I don't know. A
Period.
lot of people, like when we talk about reform, it's always like, oh well, you know, change is gonna happen slowly, guys. we're just gonna put this policy
That
in
voice,
place
huh?
and da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, baby, we need change now.
Yeah.
Americans need change
We might,
Change now.
right
we
now.
might need some
okay?
bloodshed or something.
So I mean, for me, it's really like revolution is the way. We just need, and we need a revolutionary candidate. Cornell West, 2024.
Ooh.
You advocate, we
Um,
gonna get him on the show.
Universal,
We gonna see it.
Man.
universal income, federally mandated minimum wage, $27. I think it's 27 bucks.
$27 minimum wage.
27 bucks
Cornell
minimum
West.
wage. Different in states where it's like more expensive, but
Trump may have lost my vote with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
$27.
$27.
Do your research. Cornell West is amazing.
Free Palestine, free Congo, free all the oppressed nations and oppressed
Free
people.
us.
He a
Free
sweet
us.
talker.
Free me.
Free,
Free
free
the
us.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free the blacks.
Nah, for real. The black community. I feel like, I ain't really did too much digging, but I feel like it gotta change with everybody who in power. Like
Mhm.
not just the president, but the president elected people, or a certain amount of Trump elected 3 people in the Supreme Court. 3 people that got the similar mindset as him. 3
Yeah.
people who. So I feel like you gotta cut things like that off. Like it has to be everybody. You gotta make a change from the Supreme Court to Congress to the governors to the state officials. Right, everybody. Right, every branch, executive, legislative, everybody. You gotta have the right people. And I feel like if we had the right people, we wouldn't be talking about a lot of the stuff that we talking about now.
And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big change. That it just starts small with the president. A president that get in there with the right mindset can try to make change. Right? I feel like Obama. I don't want to go on and on, but you know how every president get to elect people into the Supreme Court. Trump elected 3 people. They ain't let Obama elect nobody. They stopped him from electing nobody. So that just shows you, like, even when you try to take that step forward, they gonna do whatever they can to stop it.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like it all start with the president, and
Yeah.
then we can go from there.
I like
Fair.
that. I liked what you said. I don't even know if you noticed what you said, but you said we need to start small with the people like the president. And no one else would have said that. But I think that's very important because people tend to deify the president and see him as this all-powerful God over America, when I feel like that is literally what they fought for, so that we didn't have a monarchy. But it's so important that we as Americans and as citizens and as people and as humans, we take our opportunities and know that we have rights to educate ourselves, and know that we have a voice in politics, and know that we can make change, and knowing that the president doesn't have all of the power in the world.
Right.
We do. We have the vote. We have the voices. We decide whether or not they get back in office. And I just thought that was amazing. Put it on a shirt. Small people like the president.
Small
people like the
people.
president.
But yeah, go ahead.
Nah, I'm rocking with it. I'm rocking with it. The right people. We need some younger voices up in there.
Younger voices.
That's for
That's
sure.
That's another thing I want to talk about. We talked about that in class. It's like the reason why we don't. I'm gonna throw a fact at y'all.
Yeah.
It's like 25 million people in Texas. Like only 1.1 million people voted last week. So it's like that. How many people? That's like 24 million people that didn't vote. And guess them 1.1 million people is them older people, the older crowd, them 60s, 70s, 80s.
They be out there.
And look who we got in office. Look who we got on these stands. Them older people, 60s, 70s, 80s. And who are they making laws that affect everybody? Right? But they got the mindset of the people that voted them in. 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like a lot of the young people, we all vote. We'll see who we want to see. If our votes really do matter, I don't know if they do or not. But if they do matter, we'll see who we want to see. Then we'll get some of the things that we want to get. But we can't do that unless we vote. So I'm talking to myself. I don't vote, but I'm about to vote now because it's like, if it's so many of us, like what they were saying, my professor was saying about Prairie View. If all the students in Prairie View voted, we'll be running the whole city of Prairie View.
Easily.
Black vote, young vote.
So it's like,
HBCU
but
vote.
the reason why we seeing Biden 85 years old, dude, almost 90, he almost cracked 100. You know what I'm saying? Why we seeing him? Because everybody his age voted for him.
Yeah.
We don't got enough young souls, young people out here voting to have younger people in office. You know what I'm saying? You got to be 40 plus to be in office. Let's get a 40-year-old in office. He's closer to us than 80.
For real though.
You know what I'm saying?
Vote for AOC when she old enough.
We might need to have a little, like you say, revolutionary. We need to
We
march.
did a little revolution. And
You know what I'm saying?
really more than anything else, because I mean we talk a lot about voting, but when I say revolution, I really I'm talking about community, right? I'm talking about people like Ice Cube, giving back, like just community organizers, like the people in Atlanta trying to stop Cop City right now. The people it's a video of them standing outside the mayor's house singing, trying to stop Cop City.
Trying to stop who?
Cop City, like it's a multi-million-dollar project to build like a complex for police training.
Yeah.
See, they do stuff.
Why they don't want that though?
That's what pissed me off right there, bro. Like they do stuff like that. Y'all gonna get me mad. They do stuff like that, bro. But then we got people out here homeless, starving.
They could have built a home.
But they not doing, and it's strictly because it's the black community, bro. If they got one of their own out there struggling, they going to help them. They building rehabs. They building. You can't go to the hood and find a rehab center in the area.
You find liquor store though.
But liquor stores in a county jail. Yeah, like you can't really find that. They got county jails. Why y'all think they got all county jails downtown? It's closer to all the black, communities.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All the black communities, all the hoods and everything. It's surrounded the downtown area. The county's sitting right in the middle of downtown.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, and then so it's like they giving money out to the wrong things. Like shout out to Israel. I hate that they had to go like that. The people that die, rest in peace them souls. But we got people here that's dying from starvation on the street.
They go.
Now we see them videos of them kids in Africa when we got kids here, no homes. Like same thing going on, but they want to turn the eye to people in America and want to look overseas. And you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be going on nowhere. And if anybody can fix it, it's the United States. But it's just like another reason why I feel like I don't vote. I feel like we a lost cause, bro. Honestly. Because it's like if they would have did it, if they wanted to do it, they would have did it already.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you.
So it's like what I feel like what my vote gonna do. Like they don't care about us. Everybody that's gonna be in office gonna be the same as Biden because I can't convince every young soul to vote. So it's not gonna be no change.
But have you tried?
Yeah.
Nah.
Have you
I
tried
tried.
America? Did you march to the polls?
No, none of that. But it's like, but look at it. The people who did it, what's the change?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have did it. Everybody should do it. But the people who did it, what's the change?
What we marching for? Who we marching for?
What's the change? Like what?
I'm saying?
I know we're not marching for things. We're marching to things. March to the polls.
But what we marching? Who we marching to the polls?
So y'all, they did that in Atlanta. They did that in Atlanta, and Atlanta had my bad. Look, they did that in Atlanta. They had I believe it was like maybe a year or two ago. I think when Biden voted, and they was, I know y'all remember that year. They was like everybody vote, 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 get Trump out of office, vote, vote, vote. They had like over 1,000 some people, black people marching in Atlanta,
Yeah,
and then they put a law in place that they can't do that no more.
Yeah.
So it's like no matter how much we convince each other and we take that next step, it's gonna be 2 steps back.
Yeah.
I understand, like, or I'm sorry, Bailey, you had something?
I was just gonna say it's really a the grass is greener on the other side situation, because if it's Trump, we want Biden. If it's Biden, we want literally anyone but who we had before. And it's always going to be this or that. And when it's voting, you're not necessarily voting for someone, you're voting against a person you like more, you dislike more.
Yeah.
I just feel like it just need to be some love shown to us in the community.
Show love.
Like we it's so many like people out here struggling that it shouldn't be struggling. Like it ain't nothing to throw away $1 million. Like, and that go back to the billionaires. Mark Cuban in Dallas with 10-something $billion.
We need to
like
amend
those
the
help the
Constitution.
communities in Dallas.
We need to pull up
you
at
know what I'm
his
saying?
house.
Like it's just like I don't know. It's just we just need a lot to go on. But I feel like stop taking care of things with other countries. Going overseas, helping them out, like take care of this here. Like, let's get right here first, and then everybody can be together as a whole, and then that's gonna make it even better. That's gonna make the United States even more appealing for other countries.
Yeah, I for sure agree with everything everybody's saying, but it's like, do we as a whole even really care like that?
No.
Like, what do we as a whole even do? Other than when people get the spotlight to talk about it, what do they doing outside of just talking about it? Like, you really don't see no people. Really, people don't care about no homeless people in real life. I know I do, but like when I see them, I might slide them a little dollar too if I got some change. But it's like people don't really care about homeless people in real life, so they don't even care. The government gonna do. Like, hold on, just let me stop myself. To go back to y'all say about the little cop thing. The only reason they probably doing it because they hear y'all say, well, y'all need to train cops to do better when they shoot a black person. That's probably why they doing it. So y'all getting what we asked for, but we not really asking for the stuff that we really be wanting. Like, we want Ripper, we want stuff to set us free, but we ain't down there. We ain't causing no havoc for it though. You don't hear people call what? I don't really hear.
So it need to be a revolution.
People are causing
riots and all of that. Like
I'm saying,
people, I don't know about
people riot about George Floyd getting killed, but ain't nobody riot about these homeless people. Ain't nobody rioting about my cousin in jail for nothing. People not rioting for stuff like that.
People are, and people have, and people always have.
It's not enough of us.
It's not enough. That's what I might be saying.
Okay, but the reason it's not enough is because not enough of us have revolutionary optimism. The solution to a lot of the problems y'all are talking about is organizing, right? But when you believe that voting is a lost cause, when you believe that a lot of the things that you're advocating for, when you don't believe that you can make the change, or that not even you can make the change. I don't want to make change sound like a individualistic endeavor, because it's not. It takes more. It takes so many people, right? We don't get the civil rights movement without the collective, right? In order to achieve change, you have to gather a collective behind you, if nothing else.
Yeah. Thank you. Ooh, continue.
I'm not gonna run over the time, but the solution is revolutionary optimism, and really just finding your collective and making the change that you want to see.
Yeah. That was a great last thought. Thank you guys so much for this amazing conversation. We're going to keep this going after the camera shut off. But remember that your voice matters and you are important. This has been PV Roundtable Talk. Thanks for watching.